introduction first. First, Jim Chang.
Oh, hi. My name is Jim Chen, state demographer with the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity. Good morning.
Welcome to join. And Amanda.
Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda. I work for the city of Tucson, and I will be taking the torch from Elisa Hamlin, who was recently promoted, and I look forward to learning and meeting all of you over time.
All right, great. Thank you. Elisa, you want to introduce?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to be here. This is probably my last PopTech meeting. Amanda's taking over. I work for the city of Tucson. Thank you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure and working with you. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Yeah. And moving on, Matthew.
Good morning. Matt Taylor with the town of Marin. I'm the planning manager there.
Yeah, thank you. And Hannah.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Hannah Oden. I'm planning manager at PAG.
Right. Thank you. And Eric.
Eric Kramer, land use data science coordinator at PAG.
Jeanette.
Good morning, Hansu. This is Jeanette Duran, Transportation Planning Director at PAG.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Mirella.
Hi, good morning. Mirella Hamatka. I'm a planner here with the Pima County Wastewater.
All right. Kamala Keen.
Hello, I'm Pamela Keene, Planning Analyst for Tucson Unified School District.
All right, thank you. Pari.
Good morning, I'm Pari Mapantong with PAG. I'm incoming land use data scientist.
Yeah, thank you. Samantha.
Hi, everyone. Oh, is my video working? Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. I am with Pima County Development Services.
All right. Yeah, thank you for joining. Scott.
Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Robidoux. I'm the manager of planning with the Tucson Airport Authority.
Yeah, thank you. And Totter.
I'm Tara Salomon, a demographer with the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Xiao.
Xiao Li, Transportation Data Science Coordinator from PAG.
All right. I think Dean, you there?
Yeah. Dean Trammell, City of Tucson, Tucson Water.
It's been a while. Welcome back.
It has been.
Thank you. And Kevin. I think you are muted. You can.
Yeah, okay. Hi, morning. I'm a financial analyst with Pima County Finance and Risk Management.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anyone I missed? No? And thank you so much all. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Nathan. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm a very forgettable face. My name is Nathan Barrett. I am with the town of Sahuarita. I'm the Community Development Deputy Director.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nathan. Then yeah. And others, yeah, thank you. Here is the PAC team, the Bree, Don, the Jesse, and thank you so much joining here together. Then moving on, and next. So in kind form, regional planning efforts are enhanced by recording time donated by attendees, volunteers, and participants. PAC collects data on the time dedicated to meetings and activities to apply for use as matching funds for grants and the federal dollars. If you are paid with the federal dollars, please let us know now. Time spent in preparation for this meeting will be estimated by PAC staff who are knowledgeable of the agenda and meeting materials. At the conclusion of this meeting, the session report will automatically calculate your time spent in this meeting. Time spent working on PAC RTA initiatives, programs, and special projects may also be eligible for consideration for matching funds. Thank you. Moving on. Agenda item number 3, fiscal year 2025 building permit data update. This is an information item. Eric, and would you go ahead?
Okay. Do I have control of the? Okay, let me. Can I?
Okay. All right, welcome everybody to the spooky edition of PopTech. Hopefully the building permit shouldn't be too scary today. Population projections, on the other hand, that's another kind of beast, and I hope that they don't come back to haunt us. So, anyway, I'm going to talk about our 2020 fiscal year 2025 residential completions update. We work with building permits. We have a biannual collection of permits, issued permits, residential completions, and demolitions. Although we, for purposes, we look at the completions and demolitions. So we have two periods, July through December, January through June, that we summarize and process. And we look at the following completed housing types: single family, detached, townhomes, condos, duplexes, triplexes, etc. We have multifamily. We look at mobile homes and also various types of demolitions that are residential. So once we collect, we review the data, and we also have a final verification with the jurisdiction. So our next deadline should be in the early months of 2026 for the July through December period. And so why residential completions and demolitions? Well, one of the reasons is that COGS, like PAG, are tasked to collect this data for the Arizona Office of Economic Opportunity, AOEO. So they use residential completions and demolition data for the July 1st population estimates. And then also AOE sends that data to the Census Bureau for its own population estimates program. And in addition, we also use this data to add to our housing unit inventory, which gets used in our land use and travel demand models. We also use that data for public data requests, such as the Arizona School Facilities Board and other school districts use that as well. So next, this is the map of the extent of residential completions. The larger circles with the yellow halo are the multifamily 5 and above units or projects. We have a total of net residential units of 6,863 for the fiscal year 2025. So as you see, it's a pretty distributed set of residential completions. So in general, overall, we saw that net increase of 6,863 units. That's a 18.2% gain from fiscal year 2024. There have single family residential units represent about 64% of the total. Multifamily 5+ units comes in at around 32%, and followed by the 2 to 4 units, 3.6%, and mobile homes at 2% of that total. Now, regionally, Marana has about 27% of that share regionally. Tucson, 34.6%. Pima County, 31.6%. Sarita at 5.6%, and Oro Valley at 1.1%. And South Tucson comes in at less than 1%. I'm going to move on to the individual jurisdictions. First up, Marana. One thing to note is the with Marana's production is fairly uniform and consistent with the quarterly completions for single family. Multifamily, on the other hand, it varies a little bit, with the largest amount of completed in the first quarter of 2025. The average number of units for the per quarter is about 286 for single family, and about 179 units per quarter for multifamily. The average build duration in for days per permit or project, you could say. For the single family, it's about 233 days on average. For multifamily, that's not per unit, but is about 670 on average. One thing to note about the build duration, it can vary a lot by jurisdiction, simply because there may be different processes involved with the permits. Also, in some cases there have been data quality issues with the issue date, so that may contribute some issues, but just keeping that in mind, it's not really a crucial point for us to note here. But I'm going to move on to town of Oro Valley. Well, wait, what I wanted to say about Marana again is that it had a 12.9% change in the net residential units since compared to 2024 fiscal year. Town of Oro Valley. So in fiscal 25, it had 75 net housing units. That compares to 199 in fiscal year 24. So there's been a drop of about 62% in the net residential units. So Oro Valley had far fewer units. Again, that's not unexpected, but given the limited land opportunities for housing. But on average, that's per quarter, it's about 18 units. And again, duration, on average, 489 days per unit. Again, it's unclear. It's probably, the variation may have to do with the internal processes in permitting and in Oro Valley, or the meaning of issue date may also vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So I would not really make cross-jurisdictional comparisons on this measure. Going to move on to Sarita. In fiscal 25, we had 386 housing units net. That compares to 388. So very consistent from last year, about 0.5% change, negative change in net residential units. So really nothing, about the same. Again, it seems like builders are very good at this controlling the assembly process, and some of the jurisdictions like Marana and Sarita, so you have a steady flow of new houses. It's not flooding the market at any particular quarter. It's pretty controlled. So we have a total of 386 homes, about an average of 97 per quarter, and an average build duration about 72 on average. Again, the second quarter of 25, we didn't have, we were missing the issue date on our completion, so that's why that is 0. I'm going to move next to City of South Tucson. Again, not much activity, 2 net units, and 1 demolition, 1 net unit actually. and about 239 days on average for the permit. Next to City of Tucson, there was a 14.7% change positive in net residential units since fiscal year 2024. So overall, 2,372 housing units this fiscal year. So at the start of the fiscal year, we had a large completion for multifamily 5 and plus units. That seems to dominate the third quarter of 24 and dropping off in the subsequent quarters. So picking up a little bit in the second quarter of 2025. Single family residential seems to have at a steady pace on average about 267 units per quarter. And then the average build duration is about 221 days for single family residential, 339 days for multifamily 5 and plus, which is there's a little data quality issue there that's probably skewing that. I'm going to move on to the balance of the county or unincorporated Pima County. And in 2025 fiscal year, there was a large change, positive change in net residential units of 37.8%. And so that's 2,172 units compared to 1,576 in the fiscal 24. So for what reason, I think there was that growth. Some of it may be coming from multifamily 5 and above. There are two large in the third quarter of 24. Two large apartment complexes, Villa Cielo Cortado and Airi La Choya, in the Casas Adobes area, that over 200 some units there. So that probably is contributing to that growth. On the whole, the single family residential dominates with 78% of the total units, with an average about 426 units per quarter. Again, also fairly steady production there. And the average build duration is about 329 days per single family residential and about 569 days per multifamily 5 and above. And that's it. Are there any questions?
Pamela, you have a question?
Yeah. So sorry about my costume. If you know of housing development, multifamily housing development that's not showing up on your data.
Say that again. I missed that.
So if there's a housing development in the Tucson Unified School District area that's multifamily, it looks like apartment complexes, but it's not showing up on the PAG data file. I don't know how many housing units.
Do you know when it was completed? I mean, we get our data from the jurisdiction, so
okay, it's not
it
complete.
may, again, I don't know. It may have been. It may be the completion date is a little different from the fiscal year. So we collect up until the end of June and the start of July of the previous year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
but yeah, I can answer. You could follow up with me later, and I could try to give you some answers there.
Amanda, your hand raised.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Amanda.
Thank you, Eric, for putting this all together. I had a question. You mentioned that there was some data quality issues with the city of Tucson affecting the build date.
Yeah.
I assume you mean that's skewing it low because it looks like it's 360
Yeah,
some
yeah.
days.
There were some issued dates that were after the completion date. In the original data, there were some notes from City of Tucson about permits issued, like a revision permit issued after the completion for a couple permits. And there were some others that were, like that. Again, it may just be an issue with, again, what we're interested in is the original issued permit. It starts everything off. Any other additional issued permits after that would not be pertinent for us. So at least we want to know when it started and when it was ready for occupancy, basically.
I see.
So
I wonder.
again, that's something that we can work that out. Just I know there's a new permitting system, so hopefully that will be easier to identify and fix.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. I'll email you a follow-up question about that.
Okay, sure.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, thank you. And no other questions? Okay, we have one. Okay, Jim.
I have a quick question. Hey, Eric, I see you have the average days to complete for each type. And then you have an average at the bottom. Is the bottom just a single average of those three numbers, or are they a weighted average based on how many single family units you have?
No, it's not an average of those three numbers. Yeah, it's in the entire set behind the
Okay.
yeah. And I would, if we do this, use this again, this measure, I probably would want to for the multifamily especially, probably want to use it and the number of days per unit rather than days per permit, because there's a variation. Sometimes you have a 16 unit building, a 48 unit building, a 6 unit building. So again, those will vary the number of days that take to complete.
So sometimes you can have some units that's already completed and ready for occupancy, and while the other part of the building is still ongoing. Is that what's happening?
I don't know. I don't think it would be that way. I mean, you have one permit that could be issued for an entire building, and then you have in that project, you have multiple permits for a series of buildings. Some of them may already be occupied from the previous year or something, but it's an ongoing process. So.
Okay. Yeah, this is good stuff. We have been using numbers, for permit. It's not necessary for PAG because you're reporting completions, but for a few jurisdictions across the state, they're still reporting permits. We are just trying to use a lag time, and it looks like the time we're using is probably too fast at this point. And okay.
Yeah. My concern is, I mean, if we're going to use this, my concern is, I mean, can we get a sort of a standardized notion of what is it when issued starts, and what starts a permit and the process again? Because again, it seems to me that there's a sort of fuzziness there, like what each jurisdiction calls an issued permit, or what we're using as an issued permit, but.
Okay. Yeah, it also varies so much from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
Yeah. So ultimately, this may not be so valuable. I think it started as a sort of a question about how things were affected during COVID, and so that I was just going along with what we had done recently. So we may change it.
This is good information to know. We get asked this quite a bit. Another quick comment. You have mobile units, and in our collection, we also ask for mobile homes. You mentioned the State Department of Housing. issue permits for those units. So I got into contact with them. I request data from them. I have not received them, but that was several weeks ago. They kept saying they were working on it. But anyway, so I found out what's the difference between manufactured homes and mobile homes. One thing they told me was that it was in the 1970s, there was a law passed. And after that, the standard changed and everything was
Right.
called manufactured homes if they meet the standard.
Right.
And prior to that, the standard was weaker, and that those were mobile homes. So and this
Right.
nowadays most of all the new stuff is manufactured homes, and they say
Yeah.
they still have mobile homes because there were some old units. So
Yeah, a force of habit, I guess. We can call them manufactured homes from now on. I think that's fine.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we're still calling them mobile homes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Looks like it's just that like a build duration is kind of just attention here. So we may just spend a little bit of time, but our first kind of just important data is the completion and the net completion, the net housing units are more important. But we can spend a little bit of time if there's any way to standardize all the kind of just the issue date. Yeah, thank you. Then moving on, next item. So agenda number 4, county and sub-county population estimates and the projections update. I'm gonna just do this and the first, and this is important, and this is only for in the PAC committee review only, and official numbers to be published by and should be sourced from AOEO. And the Jim is here as well as in Totter. So we can discuss and about this and the estimates and the projections together. First, in the draft population estimate. Population estimates is mainly for updating in the between two censuses in the decennial census. Just to simply head count every 10 years in the two decennial census. We kind of just filling up those in the annual and population estimates. There are some other product AOEO population estimates, census population estimate programs, and also just the ACS numbers. But typically, we are going to talk about the AOEO and county level, sub-county level population estimates, and typically and annually, which is actually required by December 15th, the publication. So, and we are, and our just deadline is approaching, but I want to just share this first in the draft developed by and reviewed by PAC, developed by LOEO and reviewed by PAC together. So also together with our just jurisdictional partners here through PopTech meeting. So simple just the assumption is total population, and we assume that the household population and the group code population just separated and the independent product. So just summing up and those household population and the group code populations total population of just the whole county and as well as sub-county level. So the same like assumption applied here for county population estimates, and sub-county population estimates are nested in the our just the county total population. So that's the main assumption. July 2025 and the household population estimates. So we are actually focusing on just the household population. And we applied, and AOU applied, and a weighted average of following methods considering the data reliability. And composite method was used earlier, and but it actually just modified the composite method. The composite method is more likely counting number of valid population and information by the age group, but typically modified composite methods use indicators, some percentage changes and annually in 2024 to 2025. And we're going to discover and a little bit more about that. Housing unit method is typical just a method of building up based on the place level housing units and the census statistics and for example, persons per housing unit. So we will just go over and step by step and how we develop those two, composite method and the housing unit method. So first in the composite method and the actually modified composite method and as using the percentage and of the indicators between 2024 and 2025. There are some like indicators by age group. 0 to 4 use vital statistics, and age group 5 to 17 school enrollment data, and 18 through 64 use using driver license data. 65 plus use two data sources: Medicare enrollment and the Social Security benefit and the data set. So household population estimates more likely, and after estimating total the population from the list and by the age groups, just summing up, and then we deduct and subtract GQ population. So group quarter population is another independent product, and we will go over that. So first, the age group 0 to 4, and here and you can see on the right side the table. The left one is a 2024, and the right one is 2025 number. We're typically counting all these age groups 0 to 4 births that survived. So highlighting in 2024, we see 49,604. Then in 2025, 49,008, it's slightly decreased. You see that 1.2% decrease, and the total 596. But moving on to next age group, 5 to 17, the AOU uses two different data, and for this and the indicator estimation, public school and October 1st, and the enrollment data shows that 1.23% and decreased. In a public school ADM, average daily membership, and shows that decreased 2.2%, and averaging those two is a 1.72%. Then age group 18 through 64 and driver license data, we see a marginal increase and 0.05%, total 351. Age group 65 plus and based on Medicare data, and we see and 1.54% growth, and the Social Security data, and see that and the 2.56% growth. So averaging those together, then 2.05% and for age group 65 plus. So all these and indicators and combined here, total county population and by age group. So you can see that percent changes. Those are the changes, year over year changes based on those the data and by age group. So we see age group 0 to 4 and 2025 adjusted 50,668. Age group 5 to 17 and dropped 2.2%, which is 159,741. Age group and 18 to 64 and the 65 plus, and you see that positive changes, 0.05% marginal changes, and 2% a little bit strong than other age groups. So the total you see and 1,087,144 in 2025, which is the marginal increase of 0.09%, much lower, and the growth patterns and recently we've been having, yeah. Then for total household population, as mentioned earlier, and this number 1,087,144 includes and the household population and the GQ population. So we'd like to just subtract in the GQ population, and in here the table, the bottom 2025 number, see that and roughly 27,000 GQ population, and which we will discuss about that and how we just estimate that GQ population. But simply just we collect the data and based on our just a census and plus just the additional and the data sources that we've been collecting from our just the prison and the other and the facilities and the dorms, university dorms, such like that. Then total estimated household population for whole Pima County is 1,060,094. This is a total the Pima County household population estimated. Then as mentioned earlier, and applied like a weighted average, and so we just discussed about the composite method, and which was the estimated household population, 1,006,094, the population, and we actually just they have another number, and based on housing unit method, and here in the column B, and 1,075,888. I'm gonna just go over shortly and about housing unit method, how we actually just get this number, then applied like as the weighted average, and the 65%, and the weighted composite method, 35% weighted housing unit method. So last year compared to last year, we applied 60% on the composite method and 40% in the housing unit method. So as just improving the composite method in the data set, and adjust it and up to 65%. Then column D is showing here adjustment factor, which is mainly for and maintain in this number, and 1,065,622. That we call it as a controlled population. So because of a housing unit method and the numbers, we will discuss in the sub-county population projection, the sub-county level, the number is different. We apply that adjustment factor developed here to match, and that like it is the controlled population county level. So shortly, I'm gonna just go over housing unit method and the numbers, 1,075,888. So this is the whole and the table, and how we estimate the sub-county level, but also including in the county level and the population, just the estimate using housing unit method. So column H, you will see that on the bottom, 1,075,888, which is simply just based on the orders housing unit completed and the net housing units, and plus just the annexation and adjusted. Those are the total just the numbers, and using the total numbers of the housing unit used, and we apply that in the census 2020 like a statistics, for example, here the column C, and we apply the census 2020 persons per housing unit. So simply that column H was just estimated based on that. And moving back to here in the housing unit method, and weighted average, and we go over just in case, and the 1,065,622 is estimated as ours as the county, and the population estimates controlled. Sorry, this is a total, just the housing unit. I'm sorry, household level and the population estimate. Plus, and to further detail about the sub-county population estimates, and all this collection, and since the last census 2020, we collect all just the data from Q2 and the 22 to just the fiscal year 2025. June 30, 2025, of all these in the building permits and the completions, demolitions, like just Eric discussed earlier. So all combined together, and including just the annexation adjustment by jurisdiction level, we have a total in the 26,934, and net and completions of our building permits. So then going back again here, and the sub-county population estimates, as mentioned earlier, we use that the census statistics, especially census 2020, and the column C, and the persons per housing unit estimated. And we actually gathered all these in the housing units, and completed in the net housing unit, and the column E, this is the number collected from our jurisdictional partners, and annexation adjustment applied. And the column G is simply in the fiscal year 2025 housing unit inventory, and estimated here together is total. The Pima County and the total is at 497,066 and the housing unit for the fiscal year 2025. And applying that and persons per housing unit from census 2020, we estimate that an uncontrolled housing unit population, which is 1,075,888, and then to match to our and the control total in the Pima County based on the weighted average of a composite method and the housing unit method. So applying that adjustment factor, we adjust the all and the jurisdiction and of the population. And so column J is a controlled population, including jurisdictional level, adjusted, and you see that the number in the 1,065,622. And plus, this is the whole household population developed. Then moving to the column K and the GQ population, we collected and adjusted and here and removed, for example, Marana. There's the facility and all just removed 459 the inmates and plus just the other jurisdictions together. Then total and deduction and the 450. So applying that and adjust the population fiscal year 2025 and since census 2020. So adjusted total and the GQ population and the estimated here is 27,050. So combining those together in the column J and L, and which is shown on the column M, then showing up all and the estimated in the sub-county level population estimates based on that our just the county population estimates. So in the town of Marana, and we have a little more than around like 67,000. Oro Valley shows us 49,000. Sahuarita shows 38,000. South Tucson dropped a little bit and from like earlier numbers and but which is a 4,530. Then Tucson 557,000 and Pima County unincorporated Pima County and 377,000. So total 1,092,672. This is a dropped and a sub-county level population estimates. So I think this is the first portion of our population related items. I wonder if you have any questions. Okay, then moving on, just in case, this is a draft version, and I'm gonna discuss then later about the timeline, but we have another time, and I guess in December. So hopefully, and we can discuss and one more time if you have any additional questions. So this presentation will be available and after the meeting, so you can have additional time. So let us know if you have any questions regarding sub-county or county level population estimates. And then moving on and population projection. And again, this is the PAC committee review only and official numbers to be published by and should be sourced from AOEO. First introduction, AOEO and generates population projections based by the executive order in the 2011-04, releasing the state and the county projections by December 31st in years ending in 2, 5, and 8. This year, 2025, fifth year of a decade. So we have and the county projections and the deadline in the December 31st, and also release the sub-county projections within 9 months after county projection. So by September 30 in 2026 will be our deadline for our sub-county population projection. For sub-county population projections, AOE allowed to and create the population projection, and if we are interested and as a co-member and the regional representative to create the sub-county population projection. So we can work with you together, our jurisdictional partners, to create that sub-county level. but the same assumption applied, and all the sub-county population projections are nested in the county population projections, and we are talking here. Methodology is for total population, just a summing up in the cohort population and the spatial population. And for cohort population is estimate the single year age cohort survival and age 0 to 85 plus, and using fertility, mortality, and then migration. Also life expectancy table, and applied here 2 genders and 7 race ethnic groups for and 16 different geographies, including state and 15 counties. Projection horizon is 40-year, base year 2020 through 2060 forecast year. Special population is just including adult correctional facility population, university students, active military, and dependents, which is actually independent from the survival component and of the cohort population estimation, and forecast a special population, but simply like a interpolation applied, and by holding that special population estimated after just 2025 up to 2060. Then here is a historical trend about our natural growth. You see that in the birth is in the dark blue line, and the death is orange line, and all the bars actually natural growth, which means births minus deaths. And you see that all the positive natural growth and by the 2020. So simply since the 1950, and the numbers actually gradually increasing, and for both births and deaths. But by 2006, you see that in the drops in our just the births, and also death is significantly increased during our COVID and the pandemic period. But it actually just improved better, and but still we see that the patterns in the increase continued in the forecast year. So summarizing here, the birth is and declined dramatically, as mentioned earlier, since 2006, and continued in the last few years. And for this and the natural growth, and assumed in the low total fertility rate and TFR will stay in future. They'll hold the current TFR by constant for the entire period up to 2060. Pima County TFR is at 1.58, and the Arizona TFR is at 1.72. The deaths in, as you see through the historical trend, number of deaths is steadily increased over the last 7 decades, and dramatically changed during COVID-19 pandemic, and also assume the high mortality rate continues for the next 4 decades. Natural growth in the soil, and see that in the negative growth and began in 2020. That's the significant kind of changes, and because the oil trend and is showing a negative natural growth and the forecast year as well. So this is the new and projection for Pima County. Accelerate the negative natural growth with the low births and the high deaths, and including like a migration population, discussed with the AOEO about that. And because it compared to last and 2022 and projections, and the natural growth is actually significantly increased and negatively. And so that's because of 2 things in the low births and the high deaths. And so this is the main and the patterns we see in next 4 decades. But you see that here is the orange color shows that the deaths, and dark blue births, and here like a green bar is the natural growth. So the births are showing here starting, and by 2024, little lower than 10,000, and we're gonna expect, and by 2060, and something like 8,000, and it's just the graph I'm just reading, and the left and the y-axis, not the right axis. Right axis is for the natural growth, the bar. Then reading data and it starts in 2024, a little less than 12,000. Then you will see that, and it's approaching to 18,000. It's quite large, and it's going to be very strong, kind of just the changes. So we will discuss about that and the patterns in more detail later. Migration population, we discussed in August PopTech meeting. Net migration peaked in 2021, 2022, and dropped, as you see here, 2023 and 4. According to the observation based on the historical trend, we think in the annual 6K and to 9K, the migration population will be in the added and well, based on the discussion at the August PopTech meeting. And so we hope to be in the range, and then AOEO and the migration projection is in the range, and which is here on the right-hand side, and the chart shows that, and the total migration is yellow with dots, and a little bit more than 8,000. So that's in the numbers we expected. So migration population again, and is actually and important and the factor of our population growth, because we have a strong and a negative growth, and especially for natural growth, births minus deaths. So, but for this migration projection, the pandemic regression and the war restriction might not be considered the projection. So that's the one thing. County population projection, and here I'm just bringing together in the trend historical population estimates, and it's the side of the trend. Then projection is under for our just the new in the projection model up to 2060. So you can see that, and our projections and lower than 1.2 million, and which was estimated earlier in the more than 1.2 million. I can just compare here. This is the comparison. So the dark blue on the chart in the 2025 and the population projection, and is yellow is actually 2022 population projection. So which is about like a 13% lower than our 2022 population projections, and so which is roughly 170,000, and the population drop by 2060. So according to the discussion and with AOEO, AOEO addressed the birth projection model, and not only Pima County, just the entire, just the state and the counties was corrected, and further drop to 2025 projections. So here's the kind of just like a chart, and like it's just you see that in every county and listed here, and simply just to show up, and that the reduction just made here all in the county levels, and the Pima County in here, the red bar, like a 2060 estimation, the population projection, and the other counties in the dark blue bar, and it shows that the 2060 new projection numbers. The Maricopa County significantly dropped, like roughly 500,000 compared to 2022, based on the new model, the correction, especially for the migration population adjustment. So just highlighting just the Pima County, and total, and the population growth is around 4% by 2060. So which is a little lower than other in the county, for example, Pinal, and expect like 106% increase, and Maricopa County, and it shows that 26% population increase by 2060. So this is the population pyramid, and I brought just the two, and the 2025 on the left, 2060 on the right, and you see that, and based on the, I'm just reading in the 2025 population pyramid, You can see, I think it's the text is too small. I'm gonna just explain. Here you see that the orange and the bars and or like a light blue is showing that just the female in the population by just the ages, and on the bottom and is actually age 0, and on top is age 85, 84. So in here, the further in the orange color shows the Hispanic female. Then the light blue is the non-Hispanic, that's a female. And on the left side of the bar, the y-axis, and the red and the dark blue shows that the male and the population by each age. And on the bottom again, and the 0, on top, just the 84. So then red and the Hispanic, just male, and the blue is the male and non-Hispanic. So you see that, and I actually made a box here to just compare and what's going to happen and from 2025 to 2060. This is the AG, and I blocked in the AG group 15 through 50, and in next 35 years is going to be on the right hand side. 2060 is the AG group 50 to 85. So box actually showing that, and the year changes, 2025 to 2060, but the same, just the age group just moving and getting older. Going back to 2025 population pyramid, on top you see that the age group then 60 to 79 ish, and more likely you see it lots of just the baby boomers, and in 2060. And the baby boomers will be disappeared in the chart and the pyramid. But as mentioned here, just the lower box of the 2025 and the age group and 15 through 50, it will be that like it's just the age group in 2060, age group 50 to 85. So much thicker, just comparing and those two, the thickness. And you see that it's way more than 6,000 each female and male. So assume that, and very strong like a migration population, and according to the data, and we assume that, and relatively just the elderly people and coming to Arizona. That was the main actual just the changes of this the pyramid change. And we assume that, and the similar 6,000 is the band, and in 2060, but actually just much higher in the penetration of the elderly group in 2060. So this is the big changes, and which also affects that and birth rate, and as well as like a death rate. So that's in the major kind of just the changes and they're shown here. So what's next? So this is a kind of maybe too much and to digest here, and understanding of your county and the sub-county population estimates and the county population projections. You can go over and or just listen again, and the YouTube video is available of this and the contents today discussed. Population estimates, and just in case, final county and the sub-county estimate will be discussed on December 2nd. And just the date is interim. I asked earlier, but this is interim. It could be changed. But again, the AOEO deadline is December 15 in 2025. So hopefully, if there's any question, let us know, and we can discuss, and we'll prepare in advance for that meeting in the December 2nd. So county population projection the same, and the final county projection will be discussed on December 2nd. The AOEO deadline is December 31st, 2025. So any questions if you have, and let us know, and we will discuss with AOEO and regarding that. Any questions? Then we will try to kind of just cover and most of the questions at the meeting December 2nd. And down the road, sub-county population projections, as discussed earlier, and after county population projections, and supposed to be and finished within 9 months. but we usually just target in the spring season, next year, 2026. So, and we're gonna hope to work together to develop the jurisdictional and the population. So so deadline here for sub-county population projection September 30, 2026. Do you have any questions? I think this is all I have. Nope. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Just in case, and we have another and a chance to review together. So feel free to let us know. Maybe Jim and Tyler, because of you actually estimated in this county and sub-county populations and county population projections. Do you have anything if I miss or something important?
Thank you, Hansu. That was a very good presentation, and you presented our information very well. I just want to make a couple of comments, and you already mentioned these are drafts. As far as the population estimates go, I think these are close to the final. We are still doing internal quality control, and there are a few other jurisdictions that we are still getting data in. I don't expect that to affect Pima County, but again, we're still going through the process to do quality control, so it's still possible to have some changes. So make sure to treat this as a review version only. Do not take this to the public, especially not to the media. We have had this happen one time during my tenure. We not from you guys, but in a different part of the state, they did things like this. They presented the information, and then somebody took it to the newspaper, and they published it. And I was really surprised. So I don't want that to happen. Just want to make that crystal clear. Don't do that because these are not final, and it's also too early. Even if this were final, it would be under embargo in a situation like this. Okay, that's estimate for the projections. I just want to point out one thing. The pyramids you show, the age on the top, there is age 85 plus. That bar is not in here. We omitted that age group because it's an age group, and the population is much larger than any of the single ages. If we included that bar, the rest of the pyramid will be much narrower, and it doesn't look good. You're going to have a very wide bar on the top, and then the rest of it doesn't look good. And especially for 2060, you're going to have 85 plus. That's about I don't remember the exact percentage, but statewide it's going to be about 8%. And in Pima County, I think it should be around 8%. So that's a large bar. So just want to point that out. The very top bar is omitted from the graph.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And Tara, do you have anything you want to discuss and or just a comment?
No, you did a great job presenting what we have in the draft currently. I just want to point out that whatever the estimates are going to be will be incorporated into these projections, so that the 2025 numbers actually match going forward. And just just to leave everyone with a note, I know the numbers look a lot different than the 2022 series, but you're seeing the now effect of the aging population, not only here but in the country, that actually sends older people into Arizona as well, and also the nationwide drop in fertility as well. So you've got those forces working together.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Tara. Just in case, and any questions about the timeline or anything? What's next year? Nope. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And moving on. So now and 11:09, and we adjourn the meeting. Thank you all, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.